Hey guys, welcome back to Comic Talk. Today, gonna be talking about which is a better movie, Spider-Man, the first Tobey Maguire movie, or The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Recently watched both of them, and first, I'm gonna admit that I do have a bias towards the Tobey Maguire movie. That was the very first superhero movie I ever saw, and the very first superhero movie I saw in the movie theater, so just nostalgia. So I might have a little bit of a bias towards the Tobey Maguire movie, but I think as I got older, I could, see a lot of, some of the plot holes or how cheesy it is. And then for the Andrew Garfield movie, I think I've grown to appreciate it a little bit more as I got older, as I read a little bit more comics. I can learn to appreciate that movie a little bit more. So for first and foremost, I think a lot of people are going to agree that the Tobey Maguire is a better Peter Parker, and Andrew Garfield is a better Spider-Man, and then vice versa. The Tobey Maguire suit, I think, is better than the first Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man suit. I think it's still better than the second one, but I can see why a lot of people like the second Amazing Spider-Man suit. But I just think that the Tobey Maguire suit is just my favorite live-action Spider-Man suit, and that's just my opinion. Again, it could be just bias for the movie and just bias for the Tobey Maguire movie. The atmosphere, I think the atmosphere and the aesthetics for the Tobey Maguire movie is a little bit better, and then for the Andrew Garfield movie, I think there was just a period of time between like 2005, 2006 to like 2013 where just the aesthetics of movies about like superhero movies and aesthetics for sci-fi movies was kind of just a little bit I just can't put my finger on it what the aesthetic style is. It just wasn't for me. I could learn to appreciate it a little bit more when I got older, but I just remember first time watching it and then watching it again, I'm like, I don't know, I just not as enjoyable for me as the Tobey Maguire one. But I think it had the same kind of aesthetic as like Superman Returns in just a darker version of like Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. But again, that's just what I saw in it. I know a lot of people who love, that movie as well. I think the side characters are better in, the Tobey Maguire movie than in the Amazing Spider-Man movie. Uncle Ben, Aunt May, Harry. I think the only side character that is better in, or that's not Spider-Man in the Andrew Garfield one is Gwen Stacy. I think that relationship, I think they have a better relationship than Peter and MJ in with the Tobey Maguire one. I think the relationship between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield is just way better, way more believable. I think they were actually dating during that time as well, so I think it's a lot more believable, and it made a lot more sense. The one-liners with Spider-Man, I think, like I said in the beginning, I think the one-liners with Spider-Man in The Amazing Spider-Man is just leagues better than, Tobey Maguire. I think it's just a little bit more cheesy with Tobey Maguire, and it just doesn't land sometimes. I think when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, okay, that just makes a lot more sense. And of course, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I believe, is just a lot more comic book accurate to Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. But for me, I'm not like too, I don't need the character to be exactly how it is in the comics. I want it to be a little bit different, have their own spin on it, but still keep as long as like the character, we see the essence of the character, it stays, true to the character. I think you could change some stuff around, I think, with the organic web shooters versus, building his own web shooters. I still think that the Tobey Maguire one is super cool, super unique to the Tobey Maguire one. I believe there is a Spider-Man who has organic spider webs. There's so many different Spider-Mans. I just see him as a different version of Spider-Man, which I think is still a pretty good one. Villains. I think the Lizard and Green Goblin, I like them for different reasons. I think the fight scenes work a little bit better with, the Lizard. Spider-Man's a little bit more agile fighting the Lizard, and he acts more like a spider, which I did enjoy, which I didn't really catch when the first time I watched it, but you know, rewatching it again, he did act a lot like a spider, especially when he's like underground and he builds that web, and he can like feel the vibrations from the web to see like who's coming from where, like a real spider, which we didn't really get that in the Tobey Maguire movies, which I think I enjoyed that aspect of it. Which I hope, you know, in the future we get a Spider-Man who acts a little bit more like a spider in the future. I think that would be super cool and unique to see. I think another thing that the Amazing Spider-Man does better is like the swinging. Like, oh my goodness, the swinging is just amazing. You feel like you're actually swinging with Spider-Man, which we really don't get to see with the Tobey Maguire movie. I don't think it's bad swinging, but I feel like you're actually like swinging with Spider-Man rather than, you know, just watching somebody swing from like down below. Which I think that Spider-Man got correctly, the Andrew Garfield one. Let me know what your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at talk.com if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in another video.